You asked, so I'm going to deliver. I'm about to reveal the exact discovery process that took my AI agency to $146,000 per month. This is the exact same process I used to close a $12,500 database reactivation deal last month. And it's what I'm using right now to close a $30,000 a month social media outreach system. And look, the crazy part, this entire secret is all in how you run one simple call. What's up, everyone? Today I'm pulling back the curtain completely. This is something that I've spent the last decade building. If you're new here, my name is Joel House. I've done over $7.6 million in sales through my agency over the last decade, and I'm going to pull the curtain back entirely. I'm not going to gatekeep anything. I'm going to show you my exact sales process, and more importantly, the discovery framework. That's the difference between charging $500 a month and struggling to close, and $12,500 a month, essentially for the same service. So if you're ready to scale your AI agency, this is the video that will change everything. So look, here's how most AI agencies don't understand. This is what the owners just don't understand. Everyone can spin up a chatbot. Everyone can connect APIs. Everyone can build N8N. So why is it that some agencies can charge $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month, while others struggle to get $1,000 deals closed? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly my 7-step sales structure, my proprietary C.A.S.H method. And this is a method I developed after I've literally run over 1,000 discovery calls now. The psychological triggers that make clients want to pay you premium prices, and the framework that turns a one call into a 5-figure monthly retainer. So let's dive in. First, let me show you the entire machine. This is the exact process. So step number 1, smart intake. Every lead's gonna have different paths. So if a lead comes through a website, they're gonna go via a discovery form. If a lead comes either via referral or via outreach, I usually jump on a 10-minute call with them first, get some initial information from them. If it seems like it's gonna be a good fit, then we'll jump into a discovery call and we'll book a second call in. Step 2, discovery form and pre-qualification. Step 3, the discovery call. Again, it depends what path people come through. And the discovery call is where the magic happens. This is what we're gonna deep dive on here. Step 4, the growth or optimization plan, depending on what they're looking to achieve. I use AI to help build this, and it's all based on the call transcript. I'm gonna cover that in a sec. Step 5, strategy presentation. You've got to show them their future state, not what the problem is. Step 6, premium proposal. You need to position this as an investment, not a cost. Step 7, strategic follow-up until they say yes. Now, on follow-up, everyone wants a perfect closing script. I was messaging someone on Instagram just now who's asking for what's the best CTA for this message. And I said, it doesn't matter what the best CTA is, because it's about what customization elements come to this, and then how often you're going to follow up to get the deal done. Think about that. So here's the first secret for intake. It's routing. It's warm leads from your website, or do the warm leads go to a funnel? Look, warm leads for me will go straight to a discovery form. That is, someone finds my website, they find it via Google, via YouTube, whatever it is, they find it, they go straight to a discovery form. Cold leads from outreach, LinkedIn or referrals, they'll go on a 10-minute call first. And the reason for this is important because each of these leads are at different temperatures. Temperatures in the sales game is essentially like the hotter a lead is, the more likely they are to close. The colder they are, the less they know about you, the less they trust you. So warm leads are leads that usually come via the website. They've checked out the site. They know what you're about. They've somehow found you, which means either someone's referred them or they're actively looking. So those guys, you can just get them to do a form. People that are coming in relatively cold, either via referral or via a outreach, those guys you need to jump on the phone because they don't trust you. They don't even trust you to fill out a form. Now, before we go deep on discovery, let me just blow your mind quickly. That $12,500 a month database reactivation client that I've spoken to you about a few times, they were sitting on 15,000 dead leads. 15,000 in the legal space. Now, my discovery process uncovered that just 2% reactivation on this database would generate them about $300,000 in revenue. And all of a sudden, my $12,500 a month looked like a steal, right? And that $30,000 a month social media outreach deal I was working on, look, they're currently paying 8 employees to do manual outreach. Not only will my system 10x their output, but it will ensure it runs 24/7, 7 days or 365 days a year, no sick days, nothing. So the ROI is obvious because I asked the right questions. So this is the mindset shift, guys. You got to stop selling services and start uncovering money that's already sitting on the table. So let's jump in. Here is my discovery philosophy, and this is crucial. Discovery is not an interrogation. It's an excavation. You're not checking boxes. You're digging for gold. And when you've hit the right vein of gold, you follow it until you hit the nugget. So here's 3 non-negotiables when you're running a discovery call. 1, always record. Always use something like Fireflies to record, because this transcript makes your life so much easier when it comes to building your growth or your optimization plan, and also ensures that if you ever have disagreements with a client, you've got records. Number 2, video only, no phone calls. 2 things. 1, you need to see the reactions. 2, you want them to be committed to the process. Video ensures you have their focus. And number 3, high energy. You want to be standing up. So a stand-up desk is fantastic. If you don't have a stand-up desk, put a chair on your desk and put your laptop on top of it. Ensure that you're standing up so you've got enough energy. And most importantly, before the call, ask yourself, what can I be genuinely curious about on this call? What am I genuinely interested in discovering about this business? And how am I genuinely interested in helping them? By asking those questions, you're going to come in with a curiosity mindset, which is the outcome here. Because the goal of a discovery call is that by the end, they should feel like you understand their business better than they do. All right, so here's the exact questions that built me a $146,000 a month agency. The opening gambit: walk me through your perfect customer journey from first touch to lifelong advocate. And where does it all break down? This one question tells you everything. The money multiplier questions. So this is for database reactivation. If I think that's where I'm going to be going with this, I'll ask, how many leads have you collected in the last 5 years? What percentage of those leads never bought? What was their average quote value? And then you run some quick math and you go, so you're telling me you potentially are sitting on X amount of money just sitting there. Now, based on the first question, if I think that speed to lead could potentially be a good outcome here, I'll say, so what happens to leads that come in after 5 p.m.? How many leads do you think you lose to competitors who respond faster? If you could respond in 30 seconds instead of 30 minutes, what would that be worth? You want to dig deep and get them to even think themselves. They'll start selling themselves your solution. So here's just a quick example of what this usually looks like. So a client will usually say, we get about 100 leads a month. I'll say, interesting. What's your current response time? Them, usually within a day. Me, usually. Them, well, sometimes 2 to 3 days if we're busy. What percentage of those leads are still interested after 3 days? Them, maybe 20%. Me, so 80% of your leads go cold because of your response time. And at $50 per lead, that's $4,000 in wasted ad spending monthly, $48,000 a year, gone. Boom. Easy. Now my $3,000 a month speed to lead system looks like a no-brainer because they're going to save more than that just on lead generation, let alone the revenue they're going to get. This is the sort of philosophy you need to have. So let me tell you about the biggest wake-up call that I've had here. This was with a personal injury client. I was working with them for 3 years on their ads and on their SEO. This happened about 2 years ago now. They're spending $50,000 a month on ad spend. They had 20 employees, most of them actual attorneys and lawyers. And one day they said things were getting a little slow, and I was like, well, that's not what I'm seeing in analytics. It looks like you had the best month ever. I was like, hey, send me your CRM report. They go, what's a CRM? I was shocked because it turns out they'd been managing their leads in a spreadsheet, which means they had no structured follow-up, no nurturing, nothing. 3 years, I assumed that had the basis covered. That assumption probably cost them millions and probably cost me an extra zero on my retainer. Now, I rediscovered with every client every 6 months. Like that call made me realize that had made an assumption with this client. I made an assumption because I was spending so much on advertising, they knew what they were doing in terms of sales. So I'm always rediscovering every 6 months with clients, never assuming and always verifying. And what this does is two things. It will build your relationship and clients will trust you more because you are asking them more. There's a great book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. The core philosophy of the book was people like talking about themselves. The more you ask about them, the more they like you. It's that simple. They don't like it when you talk to them. They like it when you ask about them. And the more intriguing the questions that you ask are, the more that they like you because they go, wow, you actually see me. You actually see my business. You see what's going on here. So never, ever assume things. And you'll keep your clients for longer and you'll also find opportunities to upsell them to. So I had someone ask me, what is it that separates $1,000 agencies that sell services for $1,000 a month and agencies that sell the same service for $10,000 a month? And for me, it's trust through expertise. See, when you ask questions that they have never considered, you become the expert instantly. And that's what you're here for. When I ask, what's your 12-month nurture sequence look like? They'll often reply, we don't have one. I'll say, so someone inquires today and they're not ready, then what happens? They'll say, well, yeah. I'll say, well, your industry, 7 to 12 touch points are required to purchase and you're doing one. There's your opportunity for growth. That's the solution, guys. Just hit the math, hit the industry averages. And it's digging into those questions that people go, this guy knows what he's talking about. So you just need to position yourself as an authority by asking questions, and then price becomes secondary. People never have a problem with the price. They have a problem with the value. And in the AI agency space, the trouble we have with value is it's so new, people don't know the value is being delivered. So they've got to trust you as the executor of the systems. So to give you an example of this, I want to tell you a quick story of an advanced discovery in action. So I've got a friend who is a brilliant AI developer. Brilliant. This guy's going to become a billionaire if he just focuses on developing. But he sucks at sales and he's been selling consulting services. So he messages me because somehow he landed a manufacturing client and he got stuck because he isn't aware of how marketing works in businesses. So I jumped on a call with him to help get this client across the line. He knows my family. We're really close personal friends. And it turns out they wanted a database reactivation. And I asked how many contacts they had. They said 2,000. To me, that's a red flag. 2,000 contacts for a database reactivation, very, very small sets of data. So I asked, how many mobile numbers do you have for these people versus landlines? If you don't know, so I could see him on the Zoom call because it was a three-way call. He was shocked when I was asking the client this. And I said, cool, are these decision makers or are these just middle managers at the companies? And I was like, well, what percentage is still at the same company? And when they said no, what was the reason initially? These are the questions that I was asking on the call. And then I dug deeper and deeper. I was like, how many of the phone numbers have extensions versus no extensions? These are the things I was really trying to delve into to find out how many of these 2,000 past buyers are worth reactivating and how can we reactivate them? And going into the call, the client had lost faith in the solution. Coming out of the call, I got a message from the client saying, hey, I trust you. Seems like you know what you're doing. It's because I was asking the right discovery questions, I restored faith in it. And look, that's what he said after the call. He's like, I never would have thought to ask any of that. And ultimately, that's the difference between, $1,000 projects and $12,500 retainers. It's how do you position yourself with those questions? So Let's get into some frameworks here, guys. This is kind of the big reveal, something I put together for my sales team. That happened after running literally thousands of discovery calls and closing over $7.6 million worth of deals. I noticed that every high value deal followed the exact same pattern. So I codified it, and it's what I now call the C.A.S.H method. This is my proprietary discovery framework, and this is the first time I've shared it with anyone outside of our team. So the C.A.S.H method, the C stands for current state analysis. The A is the aspirational future state. S is the system gaps, and H is hidden revenue opportunities. So let me break this down because this framework is literally worth millions if you learn it and if you follow it. Current state analysis. You need to map out exactly where they are now. Not where they think they are, but where they actually are. You need CRM reports, you need data, you need everything, you need to get it hard. Now, sometimes clients simply won't have this available. So you need to say, hey, we need to get as granular as we can here. What do you have? And they say, we don't have anything. Well, no, well, if you did have something, what would you have? Is there any way you can search your inbox for this? Is there any way you can do this? You've got to get creative to get the actual data for where they are now. Part 2, the A, aspirational future state. You need to find out where they want to be. You can't paint a picture of what they could be until you find out what they want. Last week, and I was asking, by default, I'm a young guy, I assume people want money, and I was asking him what is his outcome. His outcome is to be able to spend 3 months a year in Croatia with his son who married a Croatian girl. That's his outcome. It's not about making more money. It's about being able to travel more freely and have his team execute more consistently. S is system gaps identification. You need to identify every broken process between C and A. So where they currently are and where they aspire to be, essentially you think of it this way. There should be a highway between that, like a 6-lane highway that they can just, like a German Autobahn, go 300 mile an hour down. Most of the time, at best, it's a gravel road with trees falling over it. Usually, there's just a thick forest with a couple of, grizzly bears in there trying to stop you. So that's what the S is. You need to find all these hidden opportunities. So you need to find all the systems that are breaking things down. And then the H stands for hidden revenue opportunities. And this is where you blow their mind. This is where they go, I want to work with this person. Because you need to show the money they're already losing based on statistical averages from the industry. So if you can say, hey, on average, your industry calls leads in 15 minutes, you're calling them in 2 days, the best industries in the world call them in 5 minutes, you can 8x your revenue simply by calling them in 5 minutes. Light bulb moment. You've got the deal at that point. Unless you shut up. So every single question in my discovery framework ladders up to one of these 4 pillars. And when you can hit all 4 using the C.A.S.H method, price becomes irrelevant because value is undeniable. And this isn't just theory. This is the exact framework behind the $12,500 deal. That was a 2-hour discovery over 2 calls to get that deal. Not sale, not presentation, not pitch. The proposal was 2 pages in a Google document because they trusted us. This is also what I use for that $30,000 a month social outreach system. And honestly, it's what I do for every other high ticket deal, even low ticket deals. Because if you can, the really beautiful thing about nailing the C.A.S.H system is even if you are selling a low ticket offer for $1,000, if they trust you, they become an easy client to work with. So let me show you the C.A.S.H method in action. C for current state. So you're managing 5,000 leads in a spreadsheet with no CRM. A, the aspirational state. Imagine every lead automatically nurtured for 12 months. Yes, you're simply missing an automated follow-up and lead scoring system with pipeline visibility. H, with 2% reactivation, that's $300,000 in hidden revenue from a math serves. Boom. 4 sentences. That's simple. Now, you don't just do that once. You'll do this consistently through the discovery because you want to keep finding these opportunities and stacking them. The magic is in the transitions between the pillars. And the way you transition is not necessarily in, I guess, jumping. You want to be being more clear. So the way I frame it usually is, so currently you're at wherever C is, but you want to be where A is. So the gaps preventing that are S, which means you're now leaving H on the table. That's the C.A.S.H method. And if you master this, you'll never struggle to close a high ticket deal again. It's a really simple method. I recommend writing it out, keeping it on your desk when you're closing deals, and remembering to continue digging into each one of those. So look, I just gave you my proprietary framework, the C.A.S.H method. This is what has built me that $146,000 a month agency. This is a discovery process that I helped charge $12,500 a month for database reactivation that others struggle to close at $500. And the difference isn't the service, it's all about the discovery. Now, I cannot stress this enough. You don't close deals with pretty proposals. You close deals at the discovery and at the follow-up. Now, if you want my complete C.A.S.H method discovery template with the exact questions for each pillar, drop C.A.S.H in the comments and I'll send it over to you. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to use the C.A.S.H method to turn discovery transcripts into $10,000 plus growth plans or optimization plans, depending on what they're after. So subscribe, hit the bell, and remember, there's money sitting on the table at every meeting. And the C.A.S.H method shows you how to find it. So go turn conversations into cash. See ya.